that ended in gunfire in Palm Springs last week. Last Monday, KMIR News was there live as Palm Springs police investigated the fight and said that they had found a honey oil lab at the home.
Yeah, we have an exclusive interview with the family of the man who was arrested, plus the man caught in the crossfire. KMIR News' Angela Monroe joins us now with this story. Angela.
Gino, we spoke with both men involved in the fight last week. They were friends for 5 years. An argument over money ultimately escalated into a fight in a Palm Springs front yard. Let's hear what they had to say.
And I grabbed his throat and I pushed him up against his Jeep and I start smashing his head with the gun.
And my glasses just got covered in blood and I was just pouring out blood and I couldn't hear anything.
One of those men is facing charges after a fight in his front yard, a fight that spiraled out of control when a gun was fired. A fight with a friend.
We've been really good friends, yeah, for sure. 5 years, and I usually see him at least every week.
And I make dinner, I make extra for him because we know he just stops by randomly.
I don't know, my world's upside down. Like, they were extremely close friends of mine.
So what happened? Well, the men say they were going to meet about money. Sean Ziegler says he loaned Robert Gray cash for a vehicle a year ago. Sean needed the money last Monday. Their plan to meet fell through. It's a he said about who showed up where.
I told him pretty much, hey, look, if you don't have my money, then just don't come by anymore. Robert's
dog and his tools were at Sean's house. He drove there a couple hours later.
I drive right around his daughter's car into the front yard, would park my vehicle, my Jeep, right next to my toolbox. And when he kicked my toolbox over, I grabbed a pry bar out of my toolbox and I walked up to him and I said, look, we need to stop this right now. You just need to let me get my stuff and go on and we'll go about our lives.
He runs into me in the leg with his rock crawling bar.
I didn't. I never struck him. I never put him in any kind of harm's way.
He just barely tags me. But the second step, he hits me in the head and almost drops me on the ground. Luckily, I'm able to reach for my firearm right there. I'm probably 3 feet in my door at that point.
He must have had his firearm right at his front door. And he walked out of his front door shooting at the ground in my vicinity.
At that point, I realized I can't shoot him. There's a little girl right across the street. I can't shoot her. I can't have a bullet go anywhere. So I have to shoot at the ground. I can't do anything. I close the door. We start fighting outside.
He put his left hand around my throat and hit me across the head with his right hand and the gun in his hand. And the gun went off right away. And when the gun went off, it made me deaf, and I couldn't believe it.
Robert ran and got in a passerby's vehicle. The police arrived. Sean was arrested. Sean's wife, Jatana, showed us text messages Robert was sending her about their argument before he arrived at the house and the fight began.
I receive a message from Robert saying, I'm going to make sure Sean is in jail and I wreck your guys' life.
She called me back. And she said, if you bring the cops to my house, I will kill you. I will hunt you down and kill you myself, Robert. She's like, do not bring the cops into my house and do not wreck my family. And at that point, I was driving and I texted her right back. I was like, look, I'm ready to die for my things right now.
I'm not afraid to die right now. Sean is right. I don't have anything or anyone. Just quit so I can go handle this. You should tell Madison to leave right now.
Madison is their 20-year-old daughter who was at the house and called 911.
I paid attention to what the 911 operator saying, so I wasn't really watching the whole scene, what was going down, but I saw Robert hit my dad in the back and the head.
Big, strong guy, work a lot, and the pry bar is big and heavy and metal. Like, it would be a fairly evident mark, and that's exactly what the police said at the hospital, that they didn't believe his story.
Police said in the press release, a witness saw Sean strike himself in the head with a metal object after Robert left.
I think I got to make sure my blood is on this crowbar. I have to, because nobody's going to believe me, because I don't even believe it. I don't even believe what just happened. It's insane. I put the crowbar on my head, I get a little blood on it, I drop it, I run in the house.
Palm Springs police charged Sean with a felony assault. They've also filed a drugs charge for a honey oil lab they say they found at the home, oil made by marijuana extraction. Sean denies that. So who is at fault? Or do both parties share some blame? We can't say. The police only arrested Sean. They both have attorneys. In the end, it may be a jury who decides what went wrong and who is to blame in this friendship that ended in gunfire. This case looks far from closed. Robert still doesn't know where his dog is, and the Zieglers say they don't either. The text messages haven't stopped, according to the former friends as well. Angela Monroe, KMIR News.
All right, Angela, thank you for that. Well, the NFL season kicks